Hey guys, welcome back to the Cocco channel and to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today we are doing a chit chat, get ready with me. We do those a lot, but I feel like I just say the same thing every week. I buy so much, so it's really easy for me to just sit down and try it out with you guys. So let me know if you like it. We tried out some new stuff today. We used some old stuff. Not old, but things I already had. And we had a lot of life discussions about the world and things like that. So just let me know your thoughts down below and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye! We're gonna go ahead and get started. I already primed my face just because it's the most boring thing ever. I don't feel like I should do it on camera. It's like a waste of time. So we are using some new things today. This is the Japonesque Luminous Finish Foundation. Luminous Foundation, sorry. And I am in the, or I purchased the color 02. We're gonna see it's the correct color. Oh yeah. It was really interesting. I was talking to Miss Susan and she brought up a really good point, how I've been complaining about how foundations don't match me correctly anymore, and like I used to be able to just pick the lightest shade and I was like good to go. But she said something that made a lot of sense, that they broadened the fair range, and so that's probably why like you have so many different ones now. That you can't just pick what you thought anymore. So that makes a lot more sense. I need to stop being such a whiny baby. So anywho, this doesn't have a smell or anything, so that's kind of nice. Cause you know how sensitive I am to smells. I'm trying to cover up this nasty, stupid thing. Just that one little breakout. So today's Monday in real time, which is my filming day, because everyone except for my dad is gone, so the house is like nice and quiet, and obviously Aiden, because you know I am his primary caregiver. He's actually on his way over here right now. Hi. What are you doing? So that is like Your Skin but better. I'm kind of digging it. I mean, it's only been on for like 5 seconds, but it's doing something funky on my nose. Okay, we're gonna go in with some concealer. I'm gonna use my Urban Decay Naked Skin. I never use this anymore. And this is in the color Light Neutral. Because again, you guys know, I just use it to cancel out darkness. I don't use it to highlight necessarily. There's something about the way Urban Decay Naked smells. It smells like really good. Does anybody else think that? Okay, I'm gonna use something different today for powder. I haven't used the RCMA powder in a really long time. And one of my favorite YouTubers, I don't think I ever told you guys about her. Remember those days where I did the Who You Need to Know segment? Maybe I'll do it again, I don't know. Anyways, I'll tell you guys about it here because I feel like not a ton of people watch my Tutorial Tuesday anyway. So one of my favorite YouTubers, Raw Beauty Christy, she's like one of the funniest people I've probably ever seen in my life. I mean, obviously I don't know her, so I can't say one of the funniest people I've ever met, but anyways, she used it the other day and she was like, she's like very similar to skin tone as me, and she's like normal combination skin, which I'm pretty dry right now, but anywho, she was like using this the other day and she's like, it just gives the prettiest like airbrushed finish. And she's like, what I do is just stick my little sponge in there, turn it upside down, and she's like, and I really just pack it on certain areas. She's like, I don't put it everywhere, just the areas that I feel like I'm going to, you know, break, where my foundation's gonna like break apart. And so I was like, I'm gonna try that next time, because I feel like sometimes the RCMA one like isn't no color. I don't know, I could be wrong, or maybe I just don't use it right. So she inspired me. See how immediately, I don't know if you guys can see, my eyes like are now crinkly and like look so much older than they should, just from putting that powder on. Just goes to show, because somebody else likes something doesn't mean you do. Or not necessarily like, but work. Look at how old I look. Oh, that sucks. Oh well. So I'm just gonna sweep some on my cheek area. What else I love about Raw Beauty Kristi is like, she's legit like down. Like she's so honest and you know what I mean? Like blatantly, I don't know. I just love her. I think she's freaking funny. She really is. She's really funny. Okay. For bronzer slash contour, I'm going to use my new Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer from Too Faced. She's like, I mean, not to sound weird, but she's like almost very similar to me in that like she feels like if she calls herself out on her own stuff, like, you know what I mean, it reduces the chances of somebody else like coming on and saying something mean and like hurting your feelings. That's how I feel anyway. And so, you know, she's a bigger girl and she has like a ton of medical issues though, that like is a huge majority of the reason why she is so big. And she's not even like huge, but for some reason it's like all in her face and she like makes fun of herself all the time. She has like this super pronounced like very prominent double chin, and so it just like kind of reminds me of me. Like I feel like when you have, you know what I mean, like physical flaws and you put yourself like out in this kind of environment where you're kind of judged on it, you know what I mean, you just call yourself out on it and it like helps. I don't know, I feel like us bigger girls like come together when it comes to that, you know what I mean? That sounds really weird, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean. So I feel like I just relate to her a lot and that's why I like her so much. Not to mention the fact she's freaking crazy talented. She made it to the top 6 of NYX Face Awards last year. I really was rooting for her and I was really rooting for her and for, okay, so I'm gonna go in with blush now and I'm gonna use the Mineralize blush from MAC. This is in the color Gentle. Michelle got this for me and so I wanted to use it today. So anyways, she made it to the top 6 and I was really rooting for her and Brianna Fox last year. Like I wanted one of them to win so bad. So bad. And then as soon as the NYX Face Awards were over, Miss Thing, Kristi, Raw Beauty Kristi, who I'm talking about, came home and did 31 Days of Halloween. And she's like really good friends with Jordan Hans, who is freaking one of the best out there, especially when it comes to special effects. Like, man, she's one of the best I've ever seen. And so they did like a bunch of collabs last year, which like just tied it in even more to like me loving her so much, because she's like a freak for Halloween. She's crazy talented and she like doesn't give up. Like I've done some Halloween looks where I just put them up and like I don't care. She will like rip everything off, like prosthetics, you know what I mean, like liquid latex, everything, and like do it all over again. So I'm gonna go in with the Becca Skin Perfector in Prismatic Amethyst. Woo! This was on Alana's wish list. Like, I almost wanted to do a video of like, you know, when you don't have access to like Sephora and stuff like that, like I'm sure you guys are curious, like if you could have anything, like what would you want, you know, like sharing her wish list with you, but I haven't talked to her about it, so I don't know. I think that's really interesting, like if you're from another country, like, and you don't have, like she doesn't have access to any of it, like she has to pay astronomical shipping fees, even on like brand's own website. I'm gonna do my brows off camera and then I will be right back. Brows done. As good as they're gonna get. Today I really wanted to do something different. I can't even remember the last time I used my Morphe 35O palette, and I'm in the mood for it. So let's do it. I already primed my eyes. I used my Smashbox. I'm going to set it down using this color right here. And of course using my Flower Ultimate eyeshadow brush. Our wind is starting to pick up. I can hear it. The wind chimes from in here. We have like the worst windstorms. They have, in Arizona, we have these things called haboobs, which are like these insane wind, like dust storms. And I could hear it last night too, the wind. So my brows are kind of related. I'm gonna use this cool toned kind of khaki color. And I'm gonna use this giant, what is this? Real Techniques Deluxe Creased Brush. Let's see, what else did I want to talk to you guys about? I kind of brought it up on my Snapchat, and maybe I won't go into it too deep because I know that some people aren't even watching it and some people are like very sensitive about it, but I'm curious about everyone's thoughts. I'm always like down for like open discussions as long as you're like respectful about it, you know what I mean? Like, if you have the power to respectfully disagree about 13 Reasons Why. I don't know why I'm like, well, it's, number one, it's a pretty dang good show. If you can look at it from the aspect that I do, which is that it is a fiction written show, although it does touch on topics that are very real, such as like suicide, number one, and rape, and some of like really cyberbullying, you know what I mean, stuff that like honestly does happen in high school nowadays. Like, we had bullying and when I went to high school, and we didn't have suicides, but my gosh, maybe I'll do a story time on this. Like, the town that I went to high school in Arkansas, we had so many tragic teen deaths. It was insane. And for some reason, like, still, the town that I lived in, like, still, people still die. Like, and I know people die everywhere, and maybe just because it is such a small town, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it right now. Because now that I think about it, there were one that I can think of, suicide. But anyways, like, the way I look at that show, so I'm gonna go in with this kind of brick color, and on a Luxie 205, I'm gonna just run that through my crease. Anyways, I'm able to look at it from a fiction point of view, even though it does touch on like real topics like that, because I was talking to one of my friends about this, Laura, who is like one of those, I don't know, I call them scholars, who are like, maybe not scholars because I'm definitely not a scholar, but I always love having conversations, like deep conversations about like how you perceive things. Like, I love seeing how different people react to different things. Again, if you can keep it respectful and, you know what I mean, just explain yourself, and if I don't agree with you, I'm not going to call you stupid or, you know what I mean, tell you that you're wrong, because feelings can't be right or wrong because they're your own. You know what I mean? And your ideas aren't wrong or right because they're your own. Not, you know what I mean? It's not factor. Anywho, so her and I were talking about it, and, you know, I told her, I was like, it's fictional, you know what I mean? Like, I understand that people are like very upset because, you know, like I said on my Snapchat, statistically, people who do commit suicide don't leave notes and stuff, and so I can see like being upset about that, because this girl, like, you know, no spoilers, but the overall synopsis of this show is this girl, and you find this out in the very first episode, I'm not like revealing anything crazy. This girl takes her own life in high school, and she tells you why over a series of tapes, and, you know, it's everyone's fault, and, you know, whatever. So, you know, I look at it that way, like, it's false. Like, there's no way that somebody could like pull that off in real life, you know what I mean? Like, recount events and stuff like that, and like some of the actions that happen in this, you're just like, there's no way that that would happen in real life. Like, there's just no way. That's all I can say, I guess. I'm gonna take this really pretty, I think, berry color on my outer corner. So that's just how I look at it. Like, I don't, like, I've dealt with death at a very young age. Especially in high school. It wasn't suicide, but one of my friends lost their life, my best friend actually, and I've never talked about it on my channel, but and I don't know that I would be able to, just because even though at 28, almost 11 years later, no, I think it's gonna be 13 this year, maybe it's 12, no, what year was it, 2005, so yeah, 12 years this year. You know what I mean? Like, I don't let things, no matter how much they remind me of like how I felt in that time, like I've never like lashed out and blamed a show or blamed a this or blamed a that. I don't know. I'm gonna bring that underneath as well. I really like that color. That's really pretty. So I'm going back into that original like color that I put in my crease. That actually was a lot darker than I thought it was gonna be. And I'm just blending in that red. And then I'm going to take my finger into this color right here in the middle and put that on my lid. See, like this makes me miss Morphe. Like, look at that freaking shadow. So I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are. I mean, I could sit here and like honestly talk about it all day, about like the different things in each episode that I'm just like, you know what I mean? It's so good because there's so many twists and turns and you're, you know what I mean, sucked in very easily. I think anyways. And in a good way, you know what I mean? Just like, and that was like another thing that Laura and I were discussing, is like, it's just like any other HBO show that like sucks you in and, you know what I mean, makes you want to just binge watch it and stuff like that. So for us personally anyway, and I know, you know what I mean, like personally I haven't dealt with suicide. I know one person that I went to high school with that did commit suicide after we were out of high school. I almost forgot about, which is really shitty, but anywho, it's hard to like weigh in with something like that when you had never directly dealt with it. Like I said, I've directly dealt with somebody losing their life that I was very close to at a very young age, and it forced me to deal with death at a very young age on that level, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, I was pretty young when my great-grandfather died. I think I was like, I mean, to remember it, you know what I mean? Like, I know people die when you're like very young, but I think I was 14 when my great-grandfather died, and like I grew up with him, and so like that was a hard loss. But it's different when you're like friends and losing that. It's hard. It's very hard. So we're gonna use something new. This is the LA Girl Fine Line Long Lasting Fine Tip Liquid Liner. So I'm gonna see how this compares to my Physicians Formula that I love so much. So it's super easy to use. It does get a really good clean line, much cleaner than my Physicians Formula, because again, it's the foam like felt tip. It's not a brush. The only thing I wish is that it was a little bit more, like I wish it was a little bit darker. It's not as black as I would typically like, even with like going over it a couple times. It's nice. It's very nice. If you guys don't know Laura, I think I've mentioned her once on my channel. She is actually somebody that I did go to high school with, and I think that's why it's kind of interesting, because she was also subjected to the insane amount of teenage deaths in that town. She has an amazing blog. Amazing. I'll link it down below. You guys, if you guys read blogs, you should definitely go check her out. She just had a, well, not just, her little boy just turned 1, but she like wrote all throughout her pregnancy and, you know what I mean, life as a mom, and how she decorated her nursery, and like she's one of those Instagram pages that you wish yours looked like, with like a theme and stuff, you know what I mean? I could never get a theme, even if I tried, which I have before, and it just doesn't work. I'm too, you know what I mean, all over the place, which is just my personality. and I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna put on mascara. I'm gonna use my Stila Huge. Yeah, that eyeliner really isn't that bad. Okay, I'm gonna just throw on some gloss because I have to do another video involving a lip. So I don't want to put on like a lipstick. You know what I'm saying? I'm back in love with my Buxom glosses. This is the Full On Lip Polish in Claire. And that is it for this chit chat. Get ready with me. I was like all over the place, from favorite YouTubers to teenage suicide. So that is it for this chit chat. I already said that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like chit chat, get ready with me. Please let me know down below. If you're sick of it, please let me know down below. It seems like for the most part, everyone pretty much enjoys these. I just said pretty much way too many times. It seems like for the most part everyone enjoys these, so definitely let me know because I do what you guys want to see, you know what I'm saying? So that is it. Please give this a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. If you're new, hello and welcome. My name is Brittany Cocco. You are watching the Cocco channel. Please subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.